Reading Reddit number 3, The Tower. The jungle was deep, and it had already taken weeks to hack through to get here. This wasn't my place in the world. I was a city boy, but I'd been forced into this, compelled by actions greater than myself, and now I was here, outside the huge tower. The dense jungle had been my second biggest problem on the way here. The first had been the constant attacks by the monkey troops that lived in the area. From the moment I drew near the structure, they had done everything in their power to stop my getting here, but they had failed. The tower stretched above me, huge and ancient. Inside was my destiny, but I was tired and hungry, and the wonder was lost on me. A screech from deep in the jungle reminded me that it was getting dark and the monkeys would be back soon. I'd managed to kill several after their last attack, but there were always hundreds more. At least it gave me something to eat. The door creaked open and I pushed inside the dark tower. The jungle had spilled inside through every crack in the walls, and creepers and roots were thick across the floor. But I was fairly secure after wedging the door closed. I felt fairly sure I would be safer here than I had been for weeks. I pulled a hunk of monkey from my bag and then found my matches and began making a small fire and roasted the meat over it. For once I would eat well. The light danced on the stones, and once I had eaten, I began to explore the space. Across from where I had entered were the ruined remains of a staircase. They had mostly fallen down from above and blocked the way up, but there were gaps and I could see a way through the rubble. That was for tomorrow, though. As I moved away, I just caught a glimpse of something carved on the wall. Level 1. It made my blood run cold. I slept well and woke at first light, and before long had pulled aside the rocks that blocked the stairs and worked my way through. Above, the next few floors of the tower had collapsed, and the floor was thick with stone, but beams still crisscrossed the tower, close enough to climb, although it would be difficult. In half an hour I had pulled myself up to a small upper area, and then the first noise came. It was a shuffling scrape like huge footsteps with something dragged, and it came from high above me. Through the dust and the broken beams I peered, trying to see up, but before I saw it I heard it. A primal scream which echoed back and forth, and then a deep grunting. It moved out onto a ledge, and I finally saw what I was up against. It was the king of all monkeys, a huge ape with vast bulging muscles, and his small eyes were fixed on mine. He screamed again, the noise shaking something primal inside me, then grabbed a piece of stone and flung it at me, sending it bouncing through the beams. It missed, but he was already looking for another, and I realized I would need to move fast. I scrambled up, pulling myself up the beams, avoiding the stones and other detritus as the monkey flung at me, and getting closer and closer. Then I heard the sob. He heard it too, and turned, screaming at the small bundle beside him that I had ignored. But now was I close enough to see a pink dress. My heart leapt. She still lived. How she had ended up here I didn't know, and why the Monkey King kept her I had no idea. But she was there, and still alive. Energized, I redoubled my efforts, leaping like a simian myself, getting closer and closer. The huge ape threw things more quickly now, but he looked worried too, and soon I was near enough to be able to smell him. With a final wild leap I flung myself onto his platform and clawed my way to standing, but when I stood I was too late. He was gone. A rain of pebbles made me look up. The Monkey King was far above me, already making his way to a higher platform. The chase was on. I pulled my red cap low and flexed my aching muscles. I could not fail this test. Hi, I'm Gabriel Simon of GayBrain.com. If you'd like me to read your Reddit post, Twitter tweet, or short story, message me.